Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, but more than half show no obvious warning signs. A silent heart attack can strike without you realizing it, leaving devastating consequences. Could your body be signaling danger right now? Most people ignore these subtle symptoms until it's too late. Don't be one of them. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover 9 life-saving signs you can't afford to miss. Knowing them could mean the difference between life and death, for you or someone you love. Watch closely. This might save your life. Keep watching because the 5th sign will totally blow your mind. 1. Unexplained fatigue.
Also known as myalgic encephalomyelitis, is a disease, a biological disease, that has symptoms that range from extreme fatigue and headaches to problems concentrating as well as muscle pain. Very broad range of symptoms. And up to 2.5 million Americans are thought to have it.
I've noticed that extreme tiredness that doesn't seem to have an obvious cause is one of the most overlooked warning signs something might be going on with your heart. I'm not talking about normal tiredness from a long day or bad night of sleep. This is like next level exhaustion where even easy stuff like walking up steps or down the block wins you, and when the old ticker isn't pumping blood well, your body struggles to get oxygen and nutrients where they need to go. So even minor physical stuff can leave you feeling drained out of proportion to the activity. And unlike regular tiredness, this fatigue sticks around instead of going away after some rest. Simple tasks start feeling way harder than they should. Lots of folks dismiss this as stress, aging, or just being busy. But if the extreme tiredness happens along with other subtle signs like shortness of breath or mild chest discomfort, it could mean there's an underlying issue that needs attention. I cannot stress enough, if you have unusual exhaustion that doesn't get better with rest, you gotta get it checked out. Don't assume it's no big deal or try to explain it away. Listen to your gut and get to a doctor ASAP. Recognizing this kind of next-level tired as a red flag could seriously save your life. 2. Flu-like symptoms. Feeling cruddy like you got the flu might actually be a silent heart attack, according to some doctors. When blood stops pumping right to your ticker, it makes your whole bod feel off, and getting achy, chilled, wiped out, kinda barfy, stuff you get with the flu, could be a red flag. Something ain't right with the old pumper. 'Cause your heart's struggling, it starts mucking up your system, making you hurt all over and feel run down. Some folks even get clammy and dizzy, which def screams flu. But if it hangs around, or you also feel chest yuckiness, short of breath, or a wacky pulse, time to get checked out ASAP. The whole danger is it seems like no biggie at first. But simmering heart issues can boil over if you ignore the subtle hints. So if you feel off in a weird way, listen to your gut and hustle to the docs. Catching it early could save your skin. 3. Mild chest discomfort. A key warning sign of a silent heart attack that often gets mistaken for something not as serious is mild chest discomfort. Things like heartburn, a pulled muscle, or anxiety, and the pain isn't like the crushing chest pain people usually think goes with heart attacks. This discomfort feels more subtle, a feeling of pressure, tightness, heaviness, or mild aching around your chest. This happens when the heart muscle doesn't get enough oxygen-rich blood, usually because of a blockage in one or more arteries around the heart. The lack of blood causes ischemia, which feels uncomfortable instead of really painful. The feeling might fade in and out, making it easy to ignore or figure it's nothing. It's important to know that with the silent heart attack, the chest discomfort doesn't always stay just in your chest. It can move to other places too, like your arms, shoulders, neck, jaw, or back. When it spreads out like that, it's a clear sign something is up with your heart. If you ever feel mild chest discomfort, especially if it happens when you're active or stressed and then goes away when you rest, don't ignore it. Your heart is trying to tell you something's wrong. Getting checked out quickly might catch a silent heart attack before it turns into something more serious. 4. Shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath, it's a very common symptom in a lot of illnesses and conditions. People think of COPD or interstitial lung disease or pulmonary hypertension, but it can also go along with conditions like heart failure and cancers. And really, there can be so much suffering that goes along with the shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath, or difficulty catching your breath during routine activities, is a subtle yet critical warning sign of a silent heart attack. This symptom often occurs when the heart struggles to pump blood effectively, leading to inadequate oxygen supply to your body's tissues and organs. This sensation may feel like you've just finished sprinting, even if you're doing something as simple as walking up a few steps, carrying groceries, or even sitting still. Unlike breathlessness caused by exercise or exertion, this type of shortness of breath appears unexpectedly and without an obvious trigger. The connection between your heart and lungs means that any disruption in blood flow impacts your breathing. For example, a buildup of fluid in the lungs, known as pulmonary congestion, can occur when the heart's pumping ability is compromised. This can leave you gasping for air, especially when lying down or during sleep. Unfortunately, many dismiss shortness of breath as a sign of aging, asthma, or being out of shape. However, when combined with other subtle symptoms like fatigue, chest discomfort, or irregular heartbeat, it could indicate a silent heart attack. If you experience unexplained breathlessness, seek medical attention immediately. Acting quickly can prevent further complications and save your life. 5. Pain in unusual areas.
A heart attack can be any discomfort from the jaw all the way down to the belly button, left or right, doesn't matter. But the typical textbook definition of a chest pain related to the heart attack is a feeling of pressure in the chest, mostly behind the chest bone, that comes with activity, but at times could be at rest.
You wouldn't expect that one of the big red flags for a quiet heart attack could just be some weird ache or pain popping up out of nowhere, but it happens. See, the heart attack don't always feel like the clutch your chest agony you see in movies. Nah, it can show up as some ache in your neck, jaw, back, even your arms. Docs call it referred pain. Basically, your brain gets its signals crossed up and thinks there's pain happening where there ain't. Like maybe your heart's crying for help, but your brain thinks it's coming from your arm or jaw or something wild like that, and happens more to women than men too. Go figure. And that's the kicker. Most folks brush it off as no biggie. Ah, just slept funny, they say. Or think I gotta see the dentist. But it could be your tickers sending up an emergency flare. So if you ever get these weird mystery aches, especially with other stuff like feeling wiped out or short of breath, get checked out ASAP. Your heart might be throwing you some serious side eye you shouldn't ignore. 6. Nausea or dizziness. Feeling queasy or dizzy out of nowhere. It could be a sign of a silent heart attack. These subtle symptoms are easy to write off as no big deal, just indigestion or dehydration. But they actually might mean your heart is struggling, and when blood flow drops, your digestive system gets thrown off. That queasy, overly full feeling in your stomach is your body's way of saying something is wrong. Women especially may feel nauseous during a heart attack. Or you suddenly feel faint, like the room is spinning. That's low blood pressure from your heart not pumping right. Your brain misses out on oxygen. Unlike regular old dizziness when you stand up too fast, this doesn't go away. Pair the nausea or wooziness with shortness of breath, chest pains, clammy skin. Get checked out ASAP. Your body is waving a red flag. It could be a silent heart attack. Don't wait for the classic crushing chest pain. Listen when your body whispers there is something serious going on. 7. Cold sweats. Cold sweats aren't your usual sweatiness from heat or exercise. They kind of just happen out of nowhere, leaving you clammy and uncomfortable. It's your body freaking out a bit when your heart isn't pumping blood as well as it should. When your heart struggles, your nervous system jumps into action, flooding you with stress hormones that try to compensate, and this stress response makes you sweat buckets, even when you're just sitting there. The sweat feels cold and damp, which is the weird part. You might also feel anxious or uneasy along with it. Lots of folks confuse these cold sweats with the flu or plain old stress, but they can actually be your heart crying for help, especially if you also feel nauseous, dizzy, or really tired. 8. Swollen feet or ankles. Swollen feet or ankles, also known as edema, can be an early yet often overlooked sign of a silent heart attack. This symptom occurs when the heart struggles to pump blood efficiently, causing fluid to build up in the lower extremities. When your heart isn't functioning at its best, blood flow slows and pressure builds up in the veins, leading to fluid leakage into surrounding tissues. Gravity naturally pulls this excess fluid downward, causing noticeable swelling in the feet, ankles, and sometimes even the lower legs. The swelling might feel uncomfortable, tight, or puffy, and pressing on the swollen area may leave an indentation, a condition known as pitting edema. Swelling can often be dismissed as a result of standing for long periods, poor circulation, or dietary factors like excess salt intake. However, persistent or worsening swelling, particularly when accompanied by other subtle signs like fatigue, shortness of breath, or cold sweats, could point to a heart problem. It's crucial to recognize swollen feet or ankles as a potential red flag. If this symptom appears unexpectedly or doesn't resolve with rest, it's time to consult a doctor. Identifying the underlying issue early could prevent further complications and save your life. 9. Irregular heartbeat. An irregular heartbeat can be a big red flag something's up with your ticker. When it feels like your heart's fluttering or pounding real hard, even when you're just chilling, it could mean the electrical signals telling it to beat are out of whack. Stress and caffeine can make your pulse go wonky sometimes, no biggie. But if it keeps happening, plus you're short of breath or wicked tired, your heart may be struggling. See, a sneaky heart attack can screw with blood flow to the muscle, which tosses the electrical system for a loop. Lots of folks write it off as anxiety or figure it'll sort itself out, and bad plan. Ignoring weird heartbeat and other clues like mild chest pain can stop you from getting help before things get real bad. Bottom line, listen to your bod. If your heartbeat's freaking out and it ain't going away, or you have other sketchy symptoms too, get to the doc quick. Catching the warning signs early could prevent a heart disaster down the road, maybe even save your life.